Everyone assumes that the moment you are offered a promotion, you should take it. It's more money, a better title, and the ultimate proof that you are winning the career game. We treat our professional lives like a video game where the only goal is to keep leveling up until you beat the final boss. But for about 60% of you, accepting that promotion is the single fastest way to destroy both your earning potential and your happiness. It sounds ridiculous. Why would anyone turn down a raise and a step up the ladder? Because of a silent mathematical trap called the Peter Principle. It is a structural law of the universe that explains why your boss is incompetent, and more importantly, how you can avoid becoming him. If you climb blindly, you will eventually reach a level where you fail. And in the corporate world, once you reach the level where you are struggling, you don't get moved back down. You just stay there. Stuck. Tom didn't see the cliff until he had already walked off it. Stay with us, because today we are telling the story of a man who was the best in the room until he was promoted into a room he didn't understand, and the data-driven reason why no might be the most profitable word in your vocabulary. Tom was a wizard. In the world of software engineering, he was the person you called when the architecture was crumbling and the deadline was a ghost story. He wrote code that was clean, elegant, and solved problems in his sleep. He was a sniper. Give him a target and he hit it every single time. He was happy. He went home feeling useful. He was in his zone of genius. Then the company did what companies do. They rewarded him. They offered him the title of engineering manager. It came with a 20% raise, a private office, and the prestige of a director track path. Tom took it. Of course he did. We've been conditioned to believe that up is the only direction that matters. But the moment Tom stepped onto that new rung, the genre of the game changed entirely. He went from playing a first-person shooter where he was the elite sniper to playing a resource management sim where he was just moving spreadsheets. Suddenly, his day wasn't about elegant code. It was about resolving conflicts between developers, sitting in 6 hours of budget meetings, playing politics with the product team, and writing performance reviews. These were soft skills: empathy, diplomacy, and administrative tolerance. Tom had zero aptitude for them. Within 6 months, the company had lost its best coder and gained a mediocre, stressed-out manager. Tom's competence line, which had been high and flat for years, suddenly crashed. He was drowning. He thought, "I'm smart, I'll figure it out." But he was fighting a statistical certainty called regression to the mean. He had been promoted based on a peak year of coding, and now he was being measured in a completely different skill set during a natural performance dip. To his bosses, it looked like he had suddenly become incompetent. In reality, the system had simply moved him out of the job he excelled at and permanently installed him in the one job he couldn't handle. Tom had entered the Peter zone. The breaking point came during a massive layoff cycle. Tom sat in a room with the other directors, looking at a list of names. He realized with a jolt of terror that the climbers, the middle managers like him who were operating at the edge of their incompetence, were the first to be cut. But the snipers, the senior individual contributors who were the absolute best at the core technical work, they were bulletproof. The company couldn't function without them. Tom realized he had traded his job security and expected utility, happiness plus money stress, for a title that made him expendable. He had taken a 20% raise in exchange for a 50% increase in stress and a 100% increase in the probability of failure. It was a negative value trade. A rational investor would have walked away. He remembered a study he'd read about sales teams. High-performing, lone wolf salespeople were promoted to managers, and their team's performance immediately plummeted. The skills that make you an elite individual have almost zero correlation with the skills that make you an elite leader. Talent isn't vertical, it's horizontal. Tom did something radical. He didn't quit and he didn't keep struggling. He performed a strategic stagnation. He sat down with his boss and performed a skills audit. He didn't say he was lazy. He framed it as an ROI calculation for the company. "I've looked at where I drive the most ROI for this firm," he said, "and it's in the architecture, not the administration. I want to move back to a senior individual contributor track. I want to double down on being the best specialist you have. He negotiated a path where he took on the most complex technical projects and mentored juniors, but stayed out of the Peter zone of pure management. He stopped climbing the ladder and started building a fortress on the rung where he was most effective. The Peter principle is a mechanism that efficiently turns your competence into incompetence, but you can opt out. First, map your competence graph. Identify the level where your skills match the tasks perfectly. Is it as a creator, a seller, a builder? Look at the next rung up. Does it change the genre of the game? If you're a sniper, don't agree to become the accountant. Second, calculate the expected utility. Don't just look at the salary. Subtract the meeting tax, the politics tax, and the burnout risk. If a 20% raise costs you 80% of your piece, you are losing money. Third, practice strategic stagnation. If you are offered a promotion that moves you away from your genius, frame your refusal as a commitment to excellence. Tell them you want to provide more value by doing the work, not managing it. The smartest person in the room isn't necessarily the CEO. It's the person who had the discipline to stop climbing at the exact height where they were happiest and most effective. They maximized their life, not their LinkedIn profile. If you blindly say yes to every rung, you will eventually find yourself in a room you don't understand, doing a job you hate, waiting to be replaced. The ladder only goes one way, but your life can go anywhere. Choose the rung that fits, and let the climbers walk off the cliff. Subscribe for more stories on how to use rational mathematics to win the career game. And tell us in the comments, have you ever seen someone promoted to their level of incompetence?